So, this is what I know about 923, okay? So, the first time I caught wind of September 23rd was back in 2015. In 2015, there's a lot of truthers on YouTube pointing out that 923 shows up in a ridiculous amount of movies, and the overall I guess you'd say like the undertone of the message usually is something very bad, right? Like the Little Shop of Horrors movie. In the very beginning of it, it explains that mankind as a whole goes against seemingly unstoppable force that shows up in the most unlikely of places on September 23rd in a year not too far away from ours, right? So it's telling you that, you know, ELE, pretty much like a extinction level event, is going to happen on September 23rd. Now, you know, the thing is people realized this in 2015 for some reason. Like, a lot of people. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen that year, and when it didn't nothing happened that year, okay, everybody was let down, but it's like, well, the movie never said, none of the movies say what year, it just says the month and the day, right? But if you know that any type of event that's going to threaten the life of humanity as a whole, good morning, rabbit, it's going to be from Satan, right? The thing that hates humanity the most, right? The thing that has power over everything here. So if you know that it's from him, and you know that the number 666 is aligned with him, and you know that 923 is actually, the 9 is upside down and it's a 6, and the 2 and the 3 are multiplied and that equals 6, right? So the most obvious year that it will happen is this year, right? Because then it'd be 9/23/23 or 666, right? Now, like, lots of dates can add up to 666, but that's pretty much the only 9/23 date that'll add up to 666. Okay, now in the book of Revelation, okay, it's chapter 9 that is emphasized the most, okay? Like, you know how it's 9/23? Well, chapter 9 is the chapter about the bottomless pit opening and the locust emerging, right? And killing, the smoke killing 1/3 of man, and the locust killing another third of man. The ones who don't have the seal of God in their foreheads. And then the rest that do, they will attack them, and it will have stingers that sting like a scorpion for 5 months, and people will wish to die and they will not be allowed to. So when you think about that even, like, okay, so demonic people, like people who are either spiritually aligned or genetically aligned with demonic entities, right? They usually end up in a career that pushes Satan's influence, right? So, like the Beatles, right? That they're the first band to really use backmasking techniques in their music, even though Led Zeppelin's was like way better. The Beatles, their song Revolution 9 okay, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be called Revelation 9, but that would be too obvious for people in the know to see what that's about, so they changed the name, I think, to Revolution 9. But 9 is really a 6, right? Reverse. So it's like everything's reversed, right? As above, so below, so you reverse it. So it's Revolution 6, as in 666, but it's actually Revelation 9, right? So when you play that song backwards, it's talking about the listener being a dead man, Paul, the person in the band, being a dead man, the woman that was married to the dude that got killed in the band later on, she's on the track, backmasking, saying she loves Satan and she'll marry Satan and all this crazy shit. So it's like, you know, even back then they were influencing mankind, right? Like it's a huge thing too. Once you figure out that music is not entertainment and it's literally set up, you know, in the last 100 years to be a multi-million-dollar industry, set up by this Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol and all these fucking people who say they're artists, right, are actually grandmaster witches. So, you know, you can tell that all that stuff is evil and it's against mankind as a whole, right? So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Like, it's not just in the movies, it's also in the music, it's in the time, the length of songs, it's in the length of, you know, segments of movies. Like, it's always 9:23, right? And so this is where it's gonna start sounding a little weird from me, okay? So a couple years back, after I got the shot, you know what I'm talking about, I became different. I think you could tell. I mean, I started my YouTube channel a couple of weeks after. You know, events in my life led me to become who I am. Anyway, so when I first come in contact with people, even if it's not face-to-face, even if it's just electronically, if the person I'm speaking to, even online, is clairvoyant in any way, okay, they usually have an immediate reaction to me. Like psychics will immediately see my aura and know that I'm very different from everyone else I've ever met. People who dream dreams have visions, okay, about me. There was a guy who actually, I spoke with him during a live stream he was doing, and he's a preacher, okay, and he had a stroke or something, and he had to go into a coma, okay, like literally days after I spoke with him online. And after he got better, he came back on YouTube and he he recorded everything he remembered about the dreams he had during his coma, right? So I think that he was literally dreaming about me, like he was me, and he was witnessing my future, right? Something very similar happened to Daniel after I spoke with him very briefly online. He had a vision, and he didn't know it was me. He saw it as Horus, the return of the Egyptian god. So So the first guy, in his vision, okay, he was followed by a Men in Black type agency because of things he uploaded to YouTube. Now, I'm telling you what his coma dream was about, okay? So, in the dream, they told him, like, we're watching you because of the things you've been uploading on YouTube. Blah, blah, blah. And they end up kidnapping him, right? And he wakes up in an unknown location in what looks like a medical facility. Okay, so eventually he gets along with the doctors and the nurses and the people in the hospital and stuff, and he realizes that he's in North Korea in an underground hospital. Like, he's in the basement floor. There's stairs going up to the main floor view of outside, but he's in the basement area of it. And they hook him up to this machine that is hooked up to two giant screens that are in front of him, so he can see what he's thinking, right? And they start to torture him in various ways, like physically, mentally, sleep deprivation, stuff like that, in order to get something that is lost in his memory, right? Now, I interject myself into this, right? And I say that they are looking for what the snake with 1,000 teeth inside of the sun, what, like, my memory of meeting with him, right? That's, in my mind, that's the only thing that they could possibly want out of my head, right? Like the actual image of the dragon, right? Like Satan himself. So there's that, right? And then there's the vision that Daniel had, right? Where he sees this person, this man, who is like extremely dirty and covered in veins and has no real clothes on, and is very crippled and withered. And the only real form of clothing that you can see is a bright golden crown. Okay? And I'm being held up by two 9-foot tall reptilian aliens, right? Well, demons, you know, if you know what they are. And they're holding me up, one on either side, and I'm in a burned down shirt. And they're forced me to the podium so that I could speak, and it's being broadcast to everyone on Earth. And I tell the world to eat the rich, right? So that implies that in that vision, if it's me, and I think it is me because I am growing extra veins inside my body now because of the thing, that's me. I'm the Antichrist, and the crown I get is the crown that's given to me for, you know, being the chosen one, and I'm gonna rule the world, but I'm not actually gonna rule it myself. I'm gonna be controlled by the devils, right? And Satan's planned this out for a very long time. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in my mind that I can see that can stop it from happening. Like even Jesus, like immediately I know everybody's gonna say, just pray to Jesus. I've been doing that. For all I know, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Like this is, you know, it's like my destiny. Like it's like when God gave, it says that, God gave Jesus the cup, and Jesus says, like, can't I pass this cup on to another? Why have you forsaken me? Kind of a thing. Like he gave him instructions on what to do, and what he had to do was literally let his accusers kill him, right? And that was the only way to save everyone on earth. And I kind of feel like this is very similar. Like, God is passing the cup to me, telling me, like, this is gonna really suck. You're gonna be a sacrifice, right? And you're gonna cause sacrifices, right? But it's to keep the storyline going, right? It's to wrap things up, to make the new world and make everyone have their new bodies and everybody goes to where they're supposed to go. The only way that can happen is if the Antichrist actually shows up and actually, everything goes the way it's planned out to go. So if it's really me, like, who am I to say no, I'm not going to do it? Especially since I literally believe in God. Even though I'm not a fucking good kid, my father, like, I'm afraid of that shit. I'm afraid of disobeying God, right? I'm afraid of Satan, I'm afraid of the angels, but I'm mostly afraid of God. Because when it gets right down to it, like, I can die here on earth, I could starve, I can get my brains blown out, I can get splattered on the road. But I can't die where I'm going, so it's, that's more of a concern to me, where I'm going. And if I disobey, even though what is being asked of me is horribly fucking wrong, it is what is necessary, then, it's a hard decision to turn down.